This is Mac OS Ken.
It may be New Mac Tuesday, notes from Financial Folk, and Apple honors MLK. It is Tuesday, the 17th of January, 2023. I'm Ken Ray, and this is news from Mac OS Ken, brought to you by yours truly and supported by people like you, patrons through Patreon. Find out more and add your support at patreon.com/MacOSKen. Don't bank on a new Mac being announced today, but don't be surprised either. Two indications that a new Mac of some sort is on the near horizon, one in the form of chatter, the other in the form of a regulatory filing. Going chronologically, the chatter came first. Posts all over the place Monday morning had tipsters and whisperers saying something is coming Tuesday. 9to5Mac ran a piece saying that the Cupertino company is holding Mac-related briefings with influencers and select members of the press this week, with a press release announcement in Apple's online newsroom as early as Tuesday, which is today. Secret so-and-sos have told the site that there are press briefings planned for this week, though the ins and outs of what's discussed will be embargoed until next Monday. Additionally, on and off leaker Jon Prosser teased something going down today. He posted on Twitter, "Keep an eye on Apple's newsroom tomorrow." And 9to5Mac said Monday that it had independently heard that Apple is holding press briefings this week related to the Mac. Even with that, though, 9to5Mac seemed to want to hedge its bets. "We treat all of this with skepticism for the time being," said the site. "When Apple holds press briefings," it went on to add, "it can be for a number of different things, ranging from software updates to hardware releases and more. The briefings this week are said to be related to the Mac, but more details are unknown as of right now." But 9to5Mac says talk of an embargo would seem to indicate hardware, as would hardware showing up in a regulatory filing. A few hours after the anticipation scuttlebutt, a new MacBook showed up in the Canada Radio Equipment List database. A separate piece from 9to5Mac had Twitter user Wade Penner spotting a filing. According to the report, Apple's filing received approval last week on the 11th of January. The registration references a product marketing name of MacBook Pro with an equipment description of laptop computer. The model number listed is A2779, which does not correlate to any current MacBook Pro. The piece has Penner indicating that the new machine or machines will support Wi-Fi 6E, which uses the 6 GHz wireless band to enable faster and more reliable wireless connections. Currently, the piece says the most recent iPad Pros are Apple's only hardware supporting Wi-Fi 6E and 6 GHz wireless bands. Two from the financial front today, both positive and, well, not negative exactly. A piece from Apple Insider says Rosenblatt Securities has cut its price target on Apple shares. That's tied to production problems last quarter for the Pro end of the iPhone line and resulting waning interest. According to the firm, a September survey of over 1,000 people in the U.S. found 29% of respondents saying that they had either already bought or planned to buy an iPhone 14. For people planning to buy, 44% plan to get an iPhone 14 Pro Max, top of the line in terms of price. Skip ahead 3 months and those numbers go down. A December survey of over 1,000 people in the U.S. found 25% of respondents saying they either already had or planned to buy an iPhone 14. For people planning to buy, the portion getting an iPhone 14 Pro Max fell to 34%. The way Rosenblatt analysts see it, that would seem a logical response to production constraints in Zhengzhou that made Apple unable to deliver an iPhone 14 Pro or Pro Max ordered in the December quarter on Black Friday or later in time for Christmas. Of course, production is better now. That should lead to better trends in later periods, according to the firm. But iPhone isn't Apple's only issue. Like other firms, Rosenblatt expresses concern over apparently slowing growth for the App Store revenue, games revenue specifically. They're not overly worried, though. While the firm did cut its 12-month price target on Apple shares from $189 to $165, it maintains a buy rating on Apple stock. Seeing hotter positivity is Evercore analyst Amit Daryanani. Apple 3.0 ran part of a note wherein the analyst put Apple shares on his firm's tactical outperform list. Contextually, I thought I knew what that term meant, but I wanted to be sure. According to Investopedia, tactical trading, or tactical asset allocation, is a style of investing for the relatively short term based on anticipated market trends or relatively short-lived changes in outlook based on fundamental or technical analysis. Tactical trading involves taking long or short positions in a range of markets, from equities and fixed income to commodities and currencies. Now, it doesn't sound to me as if Daryanani is suggesting tactical trading. Rather, he seems to see elements that will stand Apple in very good stead over the next several weeks or few months. Put simply, Apple's about to gun it. Points in Daryanani's note, Apple has underperformed the S&P 500 by 16% since it reported September quarter earnings, creating a compelling buying opportunity ahead of December quarter earnings, which should serve as a positive catalyst. While December quarter numbers are likely to miss the street's expectations, thanks to the disastrous quarter in iPhone City, Mr. D and company are expecting a March quarter guide that's about 5% above consensus, driven by the recovery of iPhone sales lost in the December quarter. All of those sales are not coming back, though the ones that do will still paint a pretty picture. Evercore thinks about 8 million iPhones were missed in the December quarter. Daryanani and crew currently expect Apple to recover about 3 to 4 million of the lost unit sales in the March quarter, which will make March quarter sales this year look great compared to years past. Additionally, the analyst says foreign exchange headwinds and the services business are both improving for Apple. All of that will lead to a better than expected March quarter, hence adding Apple to the tactical outperform list. Daryanani has an outperform rating on Apple shares. His price target on the shares is $190. Supply and demand seem to be hand in hand where iPhone 14 Pro is concerned. Cult of Mac says folks in the States ordering an iPhone 14 Pro or iPhone 14 Pro Max from Apple can expect delivery the very next day. That is for any color and any configuration, according to the report. If you have been considering one, the cult advises that now is the time to pull the trigger. While production of iPhone 14 Pro and Pro Max are in full swing, some worry that the COVID outbreak that's followed the relaxation of China's zero-COVID policies could once again hurt supply. If yours is one of the iPhone 14 Pros with horizontal lines running across the display, Apple is aware of the issue and on it. Word started circulating in December of green and yellow lines flashing on some Pro phones when the phones were being turned on. Now a piece from Mac Rumors says Apple has acknowledged the issue in an internal memo. The problem is said by the company to be tied to software, not hardware. According to the memo, Apple is aware of the issue, and a software update is coming soon that will resolve it. Apple TV Plus is getting into game shows. Well, competition shows, though now I really want them to try a game show. From the people who brought you Planet of the Apps, Apple Insider says the Cupertino streamer has announced a premiere date for My Kind of Country. Ordered in August of 2020, Apple's press release on the premiere says the show is a groundbreaking new music competition series that will see scouts searching the globe to find talented artists and break the next big country star. Hopefully that's break as in launch to stardom, not dash their dreams into a million pieces. Though done right, either one could be compelling TV. Reese Witherspoon's Hello Sunshine produces the show. Witherspoon will feature on the series, along with country singer Casey Musgraves, 2021's CMA New Artist of the Year Jimmy Allen, and other country artists. My Kind of Country hits Apple TV Plus on Friday, the 24th of March. Are you ready for some halftime? In September, the announcement was made that Apple Music would be sponsoring the Super Bowl halftime show. That was set to start with Super Bowl 57, which is in about a month. Headlining the halftime is Rihanna, and Apple Music does not want you to forget nor miss that. To that end, Apple Insider says the streaming music service has released a 30-second trailer for the halftime show featuring Rihanna. You can see it on YouTube if you want. That's where I go for all of my Super Bowl commercials these days. Super Bowl 57 is set to take place on the 12th of February. Oh, they're doing it on a Sunday this year. Go figure. Congrats to a couple of Apple TV Plus titles. Apple Insider says Pachinko and Blackbird picked up a couple of trophies at this past weekend's 28th Annual Critics' Choice Awards. Pachinko won the award for Best Foreign Language Series, while Blackbird performer Paul Walter Hauser won the prize for Best Supporting Actor in a Limited Series or Movie Made for Television. And finally today, Apple did as it's done in years past on Monday. The company turned its homepage over to honoring Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. on the Monday holiday, meant to celebrate his life and work. Cult of Mac ran the picture of Dr. King from Apple's site. The great orator caught, it seems, in mid-sermon. That was accompanied by a quote of King's, "This is no time for apathy or complacency. This is a time for vigorous and positive action." While a picture and a quote tend to be part of Apple's annual homage, the Cupertino company added something new to this year's mix. Under the quote from King was a link to an Apple Books copy of a book co-written by King, Stride Toward Freedom, The Montgomery Story. The book is described by its publisher as MLK's classic account of the first successful, large-scale act of nonviolent resistance in America, the Montgomery bus boycott. The piece says the book tells the stories that informed King's radical political thinking before, during, and after the boycott, including witnessing economic injustice and discrimination. The book was being offered at no cost through Apple Books on Monday. One imagines it'll stay free for a day or two at least. Today on the Mac Observer's Daily Observations podcast, with a new MacBook Pro announcement rumored for today, TMO managing editor Jeff Butts and I talk over what might make a laptop announcement exciting at this point. Plus, continuing to size up iPhone sales for the current quarter. That is all today on the Daily Observations podcast from the Mac Observer, online at macobserver.com or wherever you get podcasts. macOS Ken, brought to you by me and supported by people like you, patrons through Patreon. Find out more and add your support at patreon.com/macOSKen. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media, online at backbeatmedia.com. You can reach me a couple of ways. Info at macosken.com or call 716-780-4080. Until next time, that is news from macOS Ken. I'm Ken Ray.
Ciao.